We have gotten our first sneak peek of Kaldheim, the new face-melting world we're going to next in Magic the Gathering. So far, it looks pretty metal.
Yeah, it looks really cool. There's some speculation, so make sure to stick around to the end of the video. We've got a lot to talk about in this sneak peek. The video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
For a limited time only, if you join the Patreon at any level, you will receive a holographic Jake and Joel Are Magic logo sticker. Link in the description below. Hello, and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are going to cover, in our very first Kaldheim video, some sneak peeks that we got from Wizards of the Coast today, and talk about what we've got coming in the short-term future and some speculation that Jake and I think we have coming in the long-term future. But before we jump into this, if you would, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out.
It's the best way to support the channel with just the click of a button. Let's go ahead and talk about this new set that most likely is going to feature snow-covered permanents and all sorts of other shenanigans.
Yeah, let's jump over. So we received this today from Wizards of the Coast. Welcome to the face-melting world of Kaldheim. I don't know if that's a real song, but it's a song I just made up, and I'm going to stick to it.
It's real as long as you say it's real.
Nice.
It exists. You put it into the world, so there's no telling what's going to happen with that hit.
Vikings, gods, myths, legends, so many beards. Kaldheim is coming to hashtag sign, $, $, ampersand, melt your mind hole. Jake, they got a little cursy with this announcement today. They're getting deep into it.
Yeah, they're getting a little spicy, and I think that's great.
New art. That's mostly what we saw today. We saw 2 new characters. We saw some confirmed art for packaging, and we got a lot of hints. Essentially, what's going to be happening is that starting January 7th, we are getting our first official look. That is the launch. That is 9 a.m. Pacific time, January 7th. Look out, make sure you've got that notification bell hit on our channel, because we will most likely be co-streaming this event there at 9 a.m. Pacific. The official launch of Kaldheim, last time we did that for Commander Legends, had a ball, and so for the metal set, I think we got to jump into that one. But here in the short term, we are going to be getting sneak peek previews, they're calling it, from Tuesday to Thursday of this week. We're shooting this at the end of day, December 14th, Monday, and we will be getting December 15th, 16th, and 17th sneak peek previews, and then our launches, as we knew, at the end of January into the beginning of February. So, Jake, judging by these pictures, I have to say early impressions of our art style on this, they look pretty sick.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I like going on in these pictures. I also am taking hints from the kind of verbiage that they're using in the article that may be a lot like Party Hard Shred Harder. That might be kind of like the promotional way that they take this product, and maybe they kind of teased that in that product in the Secretversary 2020. When you're looking at the art by itself, I don't so much think of metal, but when you're really trying to push the metal aspect and you're using words like that, it does make me think that maybe that was a teaser, maybe that was some sort of feeler. What do people think of this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We do see this here, which is some of like the most metal poster art that could possibly exist.
For sure. And this is I think, a sort of hint at that. As we get down into our packaging here, we've got our collector boosters here in the bottom left, and what you're talking about, I mean, it's pretty much that's on the front of the package, right? Like this looks like a band logo, from this genre of music or genre of art, honestly. And so us getting more cards like that, especially when they confirmed that we're going to be getting another secret layer like that already, there's a very good chance.
Let's talk a little bit about the packaging, because I want to talk about the juxtaposition of this packaging compared to the trial packaging that was Throne of Eldraine collector boosters, which you could barely tell were different. So at this point, Wizards of the Coast has learned their lesson. You have blue packs and you have black packs. The black packs have a remarkably different font from the blue packs. So if you're taking that black pack and that blue pack to the register at a store and you're trying to do some sort of price matching shenanigans, you're going to get in trouble. So
yeah.
Wizards of the Coast quickly figured their way out of that. And then also the set boosters very different as well.
I think that's necessary. I remember us talking about that right after the collector boosters came out for the first time there with Eldraine. And so it's nice to see that, you know, they've heard that feedback, they received it, and they've made a change. Past that, we got our first peek at 2 new characters. Tyvar Kell, who is an elf from this plane, black and green. They were very specific to mention that the elves of this plane are black and green. And we also met Nico Eris, if I'm pronouncing their name correctly. This is actually a planeswalker from Theros. And they have a very interesting backstory about how, you know, they've been involved with the gods of Theros and now how they're moving on to Kaldheim. So we got to meet those characters, even though we didn't get to see cards from them. And that was pretty much the theme of today. You know, we got to see some art. We got to see, I mean, if this isn't Yggdrasil from Norse mythology, I don't know. I mean, that's got to be an analog for the World Tree. And you see some other things like this. You've got some golems. You've got your, you know, Vikings, warriors. These, you know, that kind of art style is going to be throughout this whole thing. And honestly, that's one of the parts I'm most excited to see is exactly how they do it. But we didn't get any cards this time. I will say, Jake, after talking about the collector's boosters and I see this piece doesn't straight up scream MTG art to me. It does seem a little bit off. And so if this was a cut here, something like this, to be some sort of full art promotional you know, metal version, whatever they're going to call the collector's boosters, the special frames from this set, I could see that piece being
I
something
do
from
think
that.
the showcase frame could be something like we saw in Party Hard Shred Harder, and I wouldn't hate that. Like really over the top metal. Like I think that product, when it's all said and done, is going to end up being very, very popular. And
I'd be interested to see if they
let
actually
us know if you disagree.
Yeah,
but
I'd be interested to see if they put those in booster packs, because even though these are collector's boosters, that is the furthest they have ever pushed the MTG frame from an official release, and it was in a secret layer.
That might just be me being hopeful that they're going to do something really out of left field. I mean, at this point, we've seen invocations, we've seen that secret layer, we've seen crazy showcase frames that don't look like Magic cards at all. So, you know, there's no telling where Wizards is going to take it this time. Yeah,
Jake and I sort of picked through. We looked at the finance subreddit. We did some searching in Scryfall ourselves, and we targeted 5 cards that are fairly cheap right now, with the exception of one of them. And they, you know, they have the possibility. We're not saying these are specs. We're not saying go buy these out. But these do, I think, and Jake does too, have the possibility of becoming, you know, more relevant in EDH when snow permanents get more support.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the kind of thing that we're trying to say is just have it on your radar. Whenever a new set comes out, I think it's appropriate and it's smart to think about the cards and those mechanics, and if you're going to be interested in those kind of cards and those kind of archetypes, then you should have these kind of cards on your radar. So yeah, let's get into it.
Here's a very cheap snow enchantment, price wise and mana cost wise, and I think that mana cost is what makes it interesting in my mind. It scries when it enters the battlefield. Also, all of your other snow permanents entering the battlefield are going to allow you to scry as well. So dropping a snow covered land is going to let you scry 1, which is pretty cool. And then if at the beginning of your upkeep you've got 10 or more permanents, you get a 20/20 creature with flying and indestructible. Pretty sick for being a 31-cent rare from a set that wasn't super crazy mass opened, because nobody was chasing, you know, crazy collector boosters at the time of this set, because they didn't exist.
It was before all of that,
right?
And
that's
so
what I'm
the
saying.
set actually was very popular, and a lot of these cards were hyped, and then what happened was they printed more of it. This card is great, it has a nice payoff, and from a casual perspective, you know, it's just like, yeah, if snow support is the kind of thing, if they give a ton of snow support in this set, I would imagine we see some EDH decks pop up. Yeah, on Thin Ice, 1 white, another snow enchantment. Enchant snow land you control. When On Thin Ice enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until On Thin Ice leaves the battlefield.
So you've got this like Chained to the Rocks, but for snow-covered permanents, 41-cent rare from Modern Horizons, and it exiles, so it's the best removal that you can run.
Yeah, and unless they're running land destruction or main deck enchantment destruction to take it out, most likely it's going to be a really efficient removal for 1. It's
Right.
not a Path to Exile. It's not a Swords to Plowshares, which are strictly better because instant speed matters, but it's just a card to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. This one was sent over to us by our patrons through the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, go check out how to join our Patreon, and the link's down below in the description. It's Naya for a World Enchantment, and it says whenever a player taps a snow land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produces, but that land doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So I think the most notable part about this card is that it's a reserve list card. Past that, it's not super great, you know, because you are going to lose access to your lands.
It's really not great.
Right. So
yeah,
we'll see if cards like that pop out. But as you can see, we're kind of moving up the ladder in price right now. $344 for the Ice Fang Kotal. And this card has seen play even without an absolute ton of, you know, snow support, or at least the amount of snow support, pushed snow support, I'll say, that we should see after Kaldheim, if Kaldheim continues the tradition, as we've seen since Throne of Eldraine, that cards just get more and more powerful as we go through the game.
Yeah, this card really took off in Modern, and it definitely has a home in that format. Flash, flying, it cantrips, it's mana efficient.
Oh yeah, it has all the telltale signs, right?
Yeah, it has the things that players who play really sweaty decks want. It's just a really, really good threat.
So Extraplanar Lens is kind of the last one we've got here, and just to reiterate that this is not a list of specs for us, just cards that you maybe want to watch. This is a $35 card, so we're not representing one of any finance spec we ever say as a $35 card. However, Extraplanar Lens is interesting, especially in EDH if you're playing with snow-covered lands, because whenever a land with the same name as the exiled card is tapped for mana, its controller adds a mana of any type to that land produced. So if you exile your swamp or your plains, anybody else in the game who's got swamps or plains are then going to be tapping those for double. But if you've got snow-covered lands that checks for names across the battlefield, nobody has snow-covered plains or snow-covered swamps, whatever, and you're able to take advantage of Extraplanar Lens without also giving the benefit of Extraplanar Lens to your opponents as you would in a normal game of Magic.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Joel said, and also I want to add, if there is going to be a big push for snow permanents, then I would imagine a card like this that has so few printings would be on the radar for Wizards of the Coast. So if you're holding this, you're not using it, it might be a good time to get rid of the card, as something like this, you know, Wizards of the Coast, they're probably going to think about, yeah, you know, Extraplanar Lens, that card's been in our back pocket. We printed it as a Kaladesh invention. It's a very niche card, but, you know, we're revisiting snow-covered permanents in Calltime.
Oh, even more that it's
that.
even more, Jake, that it's a reprint target. This is NB art on the invention version of it, and so anything that has been TN art or NB art recently has been big targets for reprints with new art.
Yeah, and that's definitely something to think about as a collector, and those are the kind of intricacies that are really going to help you make informed decisions on the secondary market, what you get rid of, and all those kind of things. Are there cards that we missed? Is there anything that you agree with or disagree with? Let us know in the comments. These are our first impressions.
Yeah, I would say On Thin Ice and Merit Lage's Slumber of these 5 are the most that I would be excited about exploring, but it's really early. We haven't even seen a true card released from this set or previewed from this set, but like Jake said, those are our early impressions from our very first sneak peek. Let's close the book. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We are going to be right there with you every step of the Kaldheim way. As soon as cards are coming out, we will be posting videos about them and our takes on them. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button on your way out. Hit that notification bell down there so you know first what our thoughts are on these Kaldheim card.
That's right.
Kaldheim cards. Kaldheim
cards. And if you don't know where the subscribe button is, just smash your computer because that's metal, right?
Oh yeah, okay, that's metal. I got it. I was like, all right, encouraging a little property destruction, but it's metal. Party hard.
It's for Calltime.
Rock on, Jake.
Shred harder. Joel, party in offline mode, baby.